Hello. In a previous video, we looked at the meaning of square numbers and which numbers can be considered square. Check that out by clicking on the link. In this video, we're going to be talking about the difference of squares and looking at which values could be considered as a difference of squares. So first things first, the word difference indicates that there is a subtraction that is required, and squares indicates that we're talking about literally a square shape, or you can consider it as a power of 2. So some value that has been raised to the power of 2. So the example I've got here is the number 11 squared, which is 121. So a difference of squares that I can create out of this 121 is a value of 112, for example. So starting with my 11 by 11, if I were to remove from that 11 by 11 square a little 9 square unit shape, so that's 3 by 3, the resulting space that is left is going to be 112. So I can say that 112 can be generated by taking 121 minus 9, which is 11 squared minus 3 squared. Okay, so quite literally taking a large square that is 11 by 11 and cutting off a 3 by 3 square off of its corner results in a value of 112. That's an example of a difference of two square numbers. I could also create a value of 105. So this time I would be taking a 4 by 4 square off of that corner. 121 minus 16, that's 11 squared minus 4 squared, so 11 by 11 minus a 4 by 4 is 105. And the third one I'm going to show you for this example is 96. And you guessed it, I'm going to go 5 by 5 this time. So what I'm removing from the larger 11 by 11 is a 5 by 5 square. So I'm taking 121 and removing 25. And the result is 96. So not all values can be represented as a difference of squares. That's going to be part of your challenge for this week, is to look at which values between 1 and 20 can be represented using a difference of squares. Okay, so which values from 1 to 20 can be found or represented as a difference of squares. I'm going to do 3 examples here just to get you started, get the ball rolling. I've drawn this little diagram at the top here showing the first 3 square numbers. So I've got 1 by 1 in the bottom corner here, bottom right corner. And I've got a 2 by 2 that kind of wraps behind that. And that's layered again with a 3 by 3. So you kind of picture that's like stacked one on top of the other. So just using those first 3 square numbers, 1, 4, and 9, I can come up with a few different values. So if I take 3 squared minus 2 squared, that's 9 minus 4 is 5. So that's one of my values between 1 and 20. So what I suggest that you do to keep track of this as you're doing different trials is to make a list for yourself of the values from 1 to 20 and just cross them off as you figure them out, or write them with the difference of squares beside them so you can keep track. That's one. I could do the purple minus the pink, so that's 2 squared minus 1 squared. 1 squared is 1, so that's 4 minus 1 is 3. So there's a value. And I'm going to try the blue minus the pink. So 3 squared minus 1 squared. That's 9 minus 1. That one is 8. So a couple things I want you to notice is that when you do a difference of squares, it isn't necessarily an odd number. You can see here I've got an even number. And they don't have to be, the squares don't have to be 1 apart. So I started with 3, 2, and then 2, 1, but it's possible to skip values in between. So you could do, I don't know, 5 squared minus 2 squared, for example. That would be fine. Okay, so your challenge is to figure out which values from 1 to 20, or how many of them, can be represented as a difference of squares. Good luck to you.